Welcome everyone. As we zoom in on finishing yet another Masechta in the Mishna Yomis, as we learn in the fourth parak of Masechta's Taanis, Mishna Hey and Mishna Vav, sponsored by Le'ilin Nishmas Chaim Zanvil ben Moshe Lefush Shalema Fel Yo Moshe ben Chayesara for the schus of Avram ben Yamin Beinish ben Malki Yehudis and family. We're sponsored by the Fisher family. Le'ilin Nishmas Basia Bas Robert Shlomo ben Avram Alevi and Peril Bas Ruvain. Then Neshama should have an Aliyah. We're also sponsored by Yoel Klugman and family for the wishes for them for Ksiva Ksimatayva Masuka. We'll learn the Refuah Shalema for Meir ben Chayesara and the Refuah Shalema for Meishver Avigdor Aye ben Rivka. Should have a Refuah Shalema b'Seich Shar Chili Yisrael. We are learning in the fourth parak Mishna Hey Zman Atzei Kohanim V'Om. At the time when Ezra went up from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, the Jews were impoverished in Eretz Yisrael, and there were times that the Beis Hamikdash didn't have wood to do the karbanos. And it's a very great thing when people step up. You know, b'makom shein ish, when people step up when they see a need, they're honored. So there were certain families that when there was no wood, the wood was very expensive. They gave from their own personal supply to the Beis Hamikdash. So then throughout the ages, those families that gave wood were given a day. And it was to honor their giving the wood. And every year they would have a Yom Tov and they would bring a wood offering and they would bring a special oila and they were honored. So Zman Atzei Kohanim V'Om, the anniversaries of these times when these philanthropic families gave wood to the Beis Hamikdash, Tisha. There were 9 such honored days. Be'echad ben Nisan, on the first of Nisan, was Bnei Orach ben Yehuda. The family of Orach ben Yehuda gave wood to the Beis Hamikdash, and every year on that anniversary throughout the ages, they brought a carbon, and it was a Yom Tov for them. They were given big honor. Taanis, the 20th of Tammuz, Bnei David ben Yehuda was the family of David from Yehuda. B'chamish b'Av, on the 5th of Av, it was Bnei Parish ben Yehuda. B'Shiva b'Av, on the 7th of Av, Bnei Yonadav ben Rechav, the children of Yonadav, the son of Rechav. Rechav is one of the names of Yisrael. It was from the family of Yisrael. B'Asara b'Av, on the 10th of Av, Bnei Sna ben Binyamin, the family of Sna from Binyamin. B'Chamisha Asabai, on the 15th of Av, the 15th of Av was a special day, was a small family, Bnei Zatu ben Yehuda, V'imam, and with them they also honored Kohanim and Leviim, families of Kohanim and Leviim that during the time of Ezra gave wood, V'kol mi shetar b'shiftei, and others that knew that in their family they had a tradition that from their family was given wood to the Beis Hamikdash, but they didn't know their lineage, they lost their lineage. Also, B'nai Goin Ve'eli and B'nai Koitze Ketzias. They also honored, there was a time that they outlawed bringing Bikurim. And there were brave, courageous Yidden that would risk incarceration and worse. And they would bring baskets, and on top of the baskets, they had dried figs, and on their shoulder they carried a pestle. Underneath the dried figs were fresh bikurim. And they would have koitze ketzias, they would have the knives that they cut the figs with, and when they were stopped by the sentries, they would say they're going to pound the figs in the huge mortars in Yerushalayim. When they would get to the Beis Hamikdash, they would uncover, and beneath them would be bikurim. So these families were honored as well. The Rav added, there were also families that brought wood to the Beis Hamikdash when it was forbidden to bring wood, and they would disguise it by making ladders, and they would carry these ladders and say they were bringing it to bring doves down from the dovecotes. And then when they got to the Beis Hamikdash, they would dismantle the ladders and give the wood to the Beis Hamikdash. Be'esimbai, on the 20th of Av, b'nei Pachas Moav ben Yehuda, the children of Pachas Moav ben Yehuda, also from the family of Yehuda. Be'esim be'el, the 20th of El, b'nei Odin ben Yehuda, Odin from Yehuda. Be'echad b'tevis, for the second time, came Paris ben Yehuda, Parish ben Yehuda, they did it in the 5th of Av. And the second time they did it on the 1st of Teves, which was Chanukah and Rosh Chodesh. Shavu b'nei Parish Nia, they did it again. And then that was enough till they got to Nisan, where they started the cycle again. Now, mentioning Echad B'Tevis had Hallel, because it was Chanukah and Rosh Chodesh. It had Musaf, because it was Rosh Chodesh. And therefore, Be'echad B'Tevis lo yahya b'mamad. They didn't have the special laning or the special feelers for Mamadas the whole day, because they had in the morning Hallel, Shoya by Hallel, the Karban Musaf, and also a Karban Eitzim. So they didn't even have Mamadas by Nila because of Karban Eitzim. Now the Rav says, but what about Echad B'Nisan? That also has all three. But that was Rosh Chodesh. The Hallel of Rosh Chodesh is a lesser Hallel. It's only a minig. That doesn't push away the Mamadas. But Be'echad B'Tevis, besides being Rosh Chodesh, was also Chanukah, and that pushed away the Mamadas. Now the next Mishnah is a very famous Mishnah. We know that on Shavasa B'Tamas, 5 terrible things happened, and on Tisha B'Av, 5 terrible things happened. And now the Mishnah tells us, Chamisha Dvar Me'eru Es Aviseinu B'Shavasa B'Tamas, 5 things happened to our forefathers on the 17th of Tammuz, V'chamisha B'Tisha B'Av, and 5 in Tisha B'Av. B'Shavasa B'Tammuz, on the 17th of Tammuz, Nishtabru Aluches. The first of all, Moshe Rabbeinu destroyed the Luchas by the Egel. Or Batal HaTamid. The Tamid ceased to be brought when there was a siege around Yerushalayim. V'hof Goyer, and also on the 17th of Tammuz, the city was breached. V'saraf Apastamus is a Torah, and Apastamus burnt the Torah that was written by Ezra. V'hemid Selim Be'echel, and they also set up an idol in the Beis HaMikdash, in the Kodesh. B'Tisha B'Av, on the 9th of Av, Nigzar al Aviseinu Shelo Yikansul Aretz, at the time of Meraglim, it was decreed that that generation would not enter into Eretz Yisrael, they would die in the Midbar. V'charav Abayis B'Rishayim B'Shniya, 2 and 3 was the destruction of the first and second temple. V'nilkida Beitar, and the great metropolis of Beitar was captured and its inhabitants were killed. V'nechre Sha'ir, and the wicked Turnus Rufus, the Roman general, plowed the land of Jerusalem after the destruction of the temple. Finally, the Mishnah finishes, Mishnichnas Av. Therefore, because of all of these bad things in the fabric of time, when Av starts, Mamatin B'Simcha, we decrease our joy by not having weddings, by not having engagement parties, by not making buildings of joy or plantings of joy, and we hope that this should cease with the coming of Mashiach Tzidkeinu B'Meherav Yameinu. We want to thank you all very much for coming and joining us. We want to remind you that tomorrow night, besides the interesting Gemara in Kibbutz Aim, there is also the Chumash Year. We are looking for one more sponsor for the Chumash Year, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Remember to check out the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, for more and more shiurim, and remember to subscribe, and have a wonderful evening.